Hello and welcome to our third video in the Juno Video Magnifier series. Today we're going to take a look at how to capture an image and how to call captured images, how to view the image, and what the difference is between viewing the image and opening the file, and how to navigate that open file. So let's go ahead and get started. So what exactly is capturing an image? Capturing an image allows the user to view the image on the Juno screen, and allowing the user to move the Juno away from the image or move it closer to their face or in a position that's easier to view what's on the screen without having to have the item exactly underneath the camera at all times. Once the image is captured, the user can change the magnification, color contrast, they can perform OCR, or they can even save the image for later viewing. So how do you capture an image? Well, firstly, you're going to position the Juno over the item or image or document that you want to capture. And you're going to hold it steady over it and tap that capture button. And remember, if the spoken menus are enabled, you're going to need to tap that capture button twice. If they're not, once is sufficient. But once you've tapped that capture button, you're going to hear a click. This can take between 3 and 5 seconds. And it's important not to move the Juno until you've heard that click, because if you do, the image that you capture may be blurry, and it's also probably going to be hard to capture with optical character recognition and probably really hard to see. After you have captured the image, there's going to be a camera icon displayed, and very briefly, and once the image has processed, that screen will go away, and the snapshot of the captured image will show up and remain where it is unless it's dismissed. An image of what that's going to look like is on the next slide, and we'll talk about the buttons that will show up once we've captured that image as well. So this is what your capture image options are going to look like once the image has been captured. And you'll notice that the menu that's displayed here is going to look a little different than what you've seen. And that's because these menus are dynamic, which means they change based on the needs and possibilities that are offered in the current moment. So, for example, you aren't going to see options related to a captured image until you've actually captured the image. Otherwise, there's no sense in them. So basically, you're going to notice that the items in that button bar are going to have changed, but only the ones on the right. And we're going to go through each one of these. In the upper left is the close menu. And once that button is activated, you're going to exit that captured image area and go back to a live mode. The second button down allows you to perform optical character recognition. And you can perform optical character recognition, you'll notice, without having to save that image or recall an image, which is kind of really nice. It allows you to do it kind of on the fly as needed without a whole lot of fuss. The button in the lower right is the Save Image button, and this allows you to save the image to the device for later viewing. This is also the button you're going to press if you want to add pages to a document that's going to be saved on the device for later viewing as well. And we'll talk about that later. So let's bring it back all the way to the beginning and talk about what we're going to do to save an image. So if you're taking the picture, you're going to position the Juno in the correct spot and press the red capture button. And as we've said before, that's the physical button located in the upper right portion of the main screen area. Make sure that you're holding that unit steady until you hear the click to take the picture, because if you move it before that, your picture is going to turn out kind of blurry and it's going to be hard to work with. Also remember that if the spoken menus are enabled, you're going to need to press that capture button twice, once to hear that it's the capture button and the second time to actually capture the image. After the button is pressed, a camera icon is going to be displayed on the screen very briefly, for about 5 seconds or so. After that disappears, there's going to be a snapshot of the captured image, and it's going to remain where it is until it's dismissed. We've reviewed these buttons already, but let's just take another look. These buttons are going to be on the right side of the screen, and the top one is going to close the captured image window and return to live view. The second and middle button will perform OCR on that captured image, and the last button, which is the one we're going to want to press in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, is the Save Image button. After you've pressed that Save button, you're going to be presented with two options. Each one of those options has a checkbox next to it. Your options are to add another page or to save the image. You're going to check the appropriate box, and once you do, a next arrow will appear in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and you can press that to continue. So if you wanted to save that image as it was, you would check the Save Image box. If you wanted to add another page, you would check the Add Another Page box. And then you would continue adding pages until you have all the needed images captured. And when you're done, you would go and click that Save Image checkbox and then press that Next button and proceed. You may be presented with a dialog that says your image has been saved. You shouldn't have an OK button to press, but if you do, go ahead and press that OK button. So when you're capturing and saving multiple pages, this is the method that we're recommending that you utilize, just because when you're capturing a multi-page document, it's much faster to scan all the pages before performing any sort of text recognition, and it's really unnecessary to save each page as its own individual file, because it saves a lot of time. It's really time consuming to go back and do each file individually, and there's not really a whole lot of benefit. If you do use the method that's outlined here that we just talked about, you can't reorder the pages after you have saved the file. So you're going to need to make sure that the pages are in the right order before you start. On the next page here is going to be a short infographic for those who benefit from a visual representation on how to save multiple pages. So this infographic was pulled directly from the user guide for the Juno, and it's of saving multiple pages. I'm just going to walk through it. The first page, the first image says position camera over document so that text fills the frame. Capture the image, then press the Save button. Then press Add Another Page, followed by the Next button. And you're going to continue that on until you've captured all pages, then recognize the text and save. You can, by the way, go back and recognize the text later. This Recognize Text button isn't necessarily something that you have to do right here in the process, but it's something that's an option. Right after you've saved the image, you're going to get a message about audio tags. An audio tag is used to name and identify a specific file. Since a keyboard is not available to name files with the Juno, this is the method by which the user can choose to organize images that are captured and saved on the device. The user is provided with this option immediately on saving an image. They can also choose to add an audio tag later, and the audio tag can be modified. So moving forward, we're going to assume that you want to add an audio tag immediately after saving the file. So after the file is saved, the user is going to get an option to add an audio tag. If they select yes, the screen of the Juno is going to look similar to the screenshot below. And this screenshot has all of the buttons that we're going to see on the next slide that we're going to identify what they are and what they do. So now on the audio tag screen, you're going to tap the record button to begin recording your note. Go ahead and save the file name, and when you're done, just tap the stop button. The audio tag is then going to play automatically, and you'll hear your voice repeated back to you. If you want to hear it again, you can press the play button. If you're not satisfied with the recording, you will have the option to re-record it. You can press that record button again, and then again, when you're finished, press the stop button, and it will loop through this until you have found that you come up with a recording tag that you can live with. When you're done, press the previous button in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Now, whenever the document is tapped, you will hear the audio tag played. Please note that an audio tag can be added later to a saved file or updated within the file manager, and we will talk about how to do that. You can view a saved image or file without actually opening it. And you can do that, and assuming, by the way, that we are in live mode, this is how you would proceed. You're going to tap the Restore button that's located in the bottom left corner of your screen, and then the Main Menu button, which is located in the upper left area. The File Manager icon will then be displayed on the main menu screen, and you're going to need to tap that, and then tap the icon of the file that you want to view. Now, if it's present, the audio tag that you've recorded will play. From here, the beginning of the file is displayed with the name of the file on the top of the information screen area, and you'll notice that that file name, unless you've done something to rename it, is quite long. The options here include to record or re-record the audio tag, and that's located in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. You can open the file. You can edit the file, and by edit I mean like rotate the image or create a mirror image if for some reason the text is mirrored and you need to remirror it back in order to do OCR. And in the lower left-hand corner, of course, is your previous screen to exit if you don't want to open the file or do any of those things. So once you've opened the document using the steps that we just talked about, you can either listen to it and the OCR by tapping on the play button that's in the bottom center of the screen, or you can expand the menu bar by pressing the Restore icon on the lower left-hand corner of the screen. And just here is what visual of what that screen is going to look like once you've opened that file without doing anything else, just opening the file without taking any other further action. So if you choose to expand that button bar, the following options are available. In the upper left, we will have your main menu button. Below that is the volume and speech rate button. On the lower left is the hide button bar, and that'll just collapse that button bar like usual. In the upper right is the close button, and that will take you out of that file entirely. On the middle, I guess, of the right-hand side is the change mode icon. And that picture is going to vary because it really depends on what mode you are currently focused in, and it'll cycle through the available modes. The options that are available are image, ticker tape, teleprompter, and zone modes. And we'll look at those at a future date. We've talked about how to capture a multi-page document, but we haven't really talked about how to navigate one when it's open, and this is what we're going to do right now. To quickly move around a multi-page document, you're going to tap the center top of the screen where it'll say page X of X, which would be something like page 1 of 2, page 2 of 8, something like that, and that rectangle at the top. In that menu is displayed some options. For example, in the middle, you can tap a page number in the scrolling list and use your finger to scroll, or you can use one of the button options that we're going to talk about here. So in the upper left-hand corner is going to be an arrow pointing to the left with a vertical line next to it. That will take you to the start of the document. Below that is an arrow pointing to the left, which will take you to the previous page. On the upper right will be an icon with an arrow pointing to the right and inside of like a square, wavy square. And that may or may not be present depending on how you have navigated that document in the past, but it's the furthest viewed page jump. And that will take you to the last page that the user has viewed in the document. So for example, if the document is 10 pages long and the furthest page that the user has ever viewed is page 5, it's going to take you to page 5. It won't take you to page 10. There is no like end of document button. And the final button on the lower right is Next Page. I hope this video has been helpful for you. Please feel free to subscribe or comment and let us know what we could do differently or even just do that would be helpful to you. Thanks a lot and have a great day.